Hello and welcome to New Play Day on Shakesyear, which is maybe not an appropriate name anymore because we're getting into the Apocrypha. And these are official Apocrypha. These are plays, for example, today we're going to start in on the Arden of Faversham, which was written by Thomas Kyd and somebody else. Maybe. And they think that somebody else might have been Shakespeare. Maybe he contributed a little bit, blah, blah, blah. But it is more of a Thomas Kyd play than a Shakespeare play. But because he might have contributed to it at some point, we're going to include it in this Shakesyear project. And not the Arden, but Arden of Faversham is not a play that I have ever seen produced or was very familiar with. So it's going to be a fun learning experience for both of us, all of us, as we go along and figure this whole thing out. So far, for what I'm getting from it, it feels, I mean, I know it's a tragedy. It feels a little Othello, a little Scottish play mixed up in a soap opera, maybe. But anyway, fun stuff. Let's figure out what's going on. So Arden is a person. It's Thomas Arden. So Arden of Faversham is Thomas Arden, who lives in Faversham. And at the beginning of Act 1, Scene 1, which is where we are, because it's New Play Day, of course, we're going to start at the beginning, he is talking to his friend Franklin. And his friend Franklin is like, hey, this is a great day. See, these deeds just arrived. You now own all of the lands of the Abbey of Faversham. Faversham. Feels better to say, I think. Anyway, he's like, all of this land is now yours. Isn't that awesome? And Arden is like, yeah, it would be, but I'm kind of sad today because, I know that my wife doesn't love me. She screamed out the name Mosby in her sleep last night. And Franklin's like, yeah, she's not cheating on you. Come on. And he's like, yeah, but even if she were to stray and look at somebody else, why Mosby? Why Mosby? Franklin's like, what's wrong with Mosby? And he's like, well, he's a butcher and he's not even a very good butcher. So she'd rather have him than me. And Franklin's like, if he's not a very good butcher, then nobody's going to employ him. Nobody's going to engage his services. And Arden says, yes, the Lord Clifford, he that loves not me, but through his favor, let him not grow proud. For were he by the Lord Protector backed, he should not make me to be pointed at. I am by birth a gentleman of blood, and that injurious ribald that attempts to violate my dear wife's chastity, for dear I hold her love as dear as heaven, shall on the bed which he thinks to defile see his dissevered joints and sinews torn, whilst on the plancher's pants his weary body smeared in the channels of his lustful blood. So what he's saying, first he's a little bit miffed that somebody will still employ Mosby because he doesn't think that he should be employed, but he's like, that guy who doesn't like me very much is still employing him. And he's like, but he should think better than to try to make me a cuckold because I'm a gentleman and I have the means to kill him. If he's trying to defile my wife, I will gut him, basically. And Franklin's like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure you will. But then the wife enters, Alice. And she's like, what are you all doing up so early? And they're like, we like to get up early. And besides, I was haunted by a bad dream because I heard you yell Mosby in the night. And she's like, what? No, I don't. What? And he's like, yeah. And then you got startled and you woke yourself up. And instead of grabbing him, you grabbed me. And she's like, instead of grabbing him, who else was in the bed with us? Who do you think I was trying to grab? If I grabbed anybody, why wouldn't I be grabbing for you? This was a dream. It meant nothing. What are you even talking about? And she turns to Franklin and she's like, weren't we just talking about Mosby the other night? Franklin's like, yeah, actually we were. And she's like, that must be what it is. It's in your mind because we were just talking about him. It's not that big a thing. And Arden's like, okay, I get it. You love me. Everything's good. Okay. So I have to go to London for a month. And while our horses are getting ready, Franklin and I have to go down to the lake or whatever. We have to take care of some stuff. We'll be back in just a few minutes. While we're gone, can you make breakfast for us? And she's like, sure, see you in a little bit. And the two of them leave, and Alice gets a moment by herself on the stage to share with us tomorrow's monologue. So I'll see you then for that. Mwah.